my face. What's the deal, baby? Y'all they know who it is. That big boss hog, boss dog K-Poke through the door. Here to talk this boxing. Your boy just came back from Mexico, man. As you can see, I'm oily. You know what I'm saying? Your boy skin oily, man. You know what I'm saying? Like a pastel. I'm tripping. Yeah, I just came back from Mexico, man. You know what I'm saying? Me and my wife celebrated our 10-year anniversary of getting married. You know what I'm saying? It was a beautiful thing. Had a lot of fun. It was my first time outside the country, outside of Texas. You know what I'm saying? I had a blast. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's back to the grind. How y'all been? Everybody Gucci? Everybody straight? I did watch that Danny Garcia versus Jose Benavides fight. And let's talk about it. Danny Garcia. He dominated that fight. I gave Danny Garcia, I'll say 10 rounds, Jose Benavides 2. Jose Benavides, I don't know what it is, like he's sitting there, like he'll sit there and shake his head and posture and pose. I'm like, bro, you do know they counting that stuff, right? Like, you losing. You know what I'm saying? But you sitting there acting like he ain't hurting you on some macho man stuff. That stuff don't. Nah, that's how you lose. You know what I mean? Like, we just gonna keep it a stack. You know what I'm saying? But he sitting there, he did that in the Terrence Crawford fight. Now, granted, he had some good rounds. Don't get twisted. He had some good rounds where he you know, was getting off on Danny. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was he was getting off on Danny on some of them rounds. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like, Danny dominated the fight. Showed good ring generalship. Invested to the body, you know what I mean? I'd like for Danny to move his head a little more, but other than, if I just want to nitpick, but it was unanimous. I don't understand how that other judge tried to, you know, say it was a draw. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like 114. I was like, hell no. You know what I mean? I think one judge had a 117, 111, 116 to 112. And then the other judge had a 114. Like, I don't understand what they looking at. You know what I mean? Like, that should have been a unanimous decision. You know? But hey, it is what it is. You know, boxing is a dirty sport. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a sport where, you know, it's 100% clean. You know what I mean? Like, people got agendas and you know, they do that. Look at the Floyd Canelo fight. Floyd dominated Canelo. Canelo didn't win not one round, and they gave Floyd a majority decision over Canelo. Floyd beat the brakes off that boy. You know what I'm saying? So it's just stuff like that you got to watch out for in boxing. You know what I mean? For those of y'all who getting into the sport and who want to, you know, compete in amateur boxing or pro boxing, you got to deal with them judges, bro. My best thing to tell you, the best advice, is make sure your opponent ain't standing up. Don't leave it to the judges. That's all I can tell you. Now, post-fight, Danny Garcia cried. Talked about he dealt with depression and anxiety, things like that, which a lot of us deal with. You know, especially men. We deal with it a lot. The fact that he's talking about it, I got to give him his props. Because, you know, as a man, we don't you know, we talk to, you know, man, be silent, you know. So, the fact that he talked about that, I respect him for it. Now, what I don't agree with, you know, before the fight, he was making excuses. In my mind, it's an excuse by him losing to Errol Spence. He was saying stuff like, oh, it was hard for him to get motivated for the fight and all this other stuff. No, we don't. And I like Danny Garcia. I respect him. He's one of my favorite fighters. But you can't make excuses. You know what I mean? That's what it is. We're not here to make excuses in this boxing game. I understand, like, you going through what you're going through, but you got to understand that it's going to be looked at as an excuse. You feel me? Like, that's just what it is, G. Like, it's no other way to put it. It's going to be looked at as an excuse. It's going to be looked at like you trying to justify why you got beat that bad by Errol Spence. It's like, bro, at the end of the day, all you got to say is, hey, he was the better man. He won that night. That's it. You know what I mean? Which he was saying at first, but then Now, I don't know if he just started seeing videos and people was like, man, they're beat the brakes off Danny Garcia. I don't know. And he felt like, oh, I got to justify. Whatever the case is, all I'm saying is it don't look good to him making those excuses. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, own up to it. I tell you, man, it was I had a fight, my first amateur fight, right? A couple days before my fight, my wife get in a tremendous accident, bro, like with my kids. And basically they totaled out the car. The car was shaped like the letter U. That's how bad they damaged the car. And they hit the side where my daughter was at. And they hit the back driver. That's where my daughter was sitting at. She had a big old knot on her head. You know what I'm saying? My wife was bleeding. Like, my other daughter was bleeding. Like, it was bad. This was days before my fight. Like 1 or 2 days before my fight. I had the option to basically be like, I'm not fighting. You know? But I still fought. I had that on my mind. I still fought. You know what I'm saying? Now, I didn't get to knock the dude out. But I won the fight. You know what I mean? If I would have lost that fight, I wouldn't have sat there and said, oh, man, because my wife got in this accident days prior, and, my daughter could have had a brain injury. I don't know. But, my wife got in an accident, and I was just thinking about that, and, that's why I lost. No. I would have said the best man won that night. You know what I mean? We're not here to make excuses in boxing, bro. That's just what it is. I didn't like that from Danny. And you know what I'm saying? And he may not have meant it to come out like that. But what I don't like is just, like I said, him saying stuff like that. Now, apparently, I hear that Elspeth and Danny Garcia like kind of reconciled the issue, but like I say, man, like, you can't do that in boxing. You know what I mean? You can't do that in boxing. Like, you gotta take on the chin. I had a little spar event, right? Where we spar it was for charity. Don't count against our record, nothing. But it's amateur boxing rules. I don't even think it was sanctioned by USA Boxing. It was just, you know what I'm saying? It was just like a little event, and the proceeds go to charity. I sparred this dude, right? And I had a list of stuff that went on that week. You know what I'm saying? Even the day of my fight, had a list of stuff going on. Sparred the dude, right? A lot of people feel like I won, because it's sparring. Don't count on your record. It's just like, it's a sparring event with everybody in there. You know what I'm saying? Where people can have drinks and, just kind of chill and, fellowship. Just kind of, it wasn't a sanctioned event. Because, when you're in a sanctioned event, you got to wear a specific type of gloves, a specific type of headgear and uniform and all that. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like, bro, like, I had a list of stuff going on that week, and according to them, I lost. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, I had a bunch of people tell me, hey, man, you won. But I ain't make no excuses after the fight and say, oh, man, I was dealing with this, that, and the third. No. I just say, hey, the better man won. You know what I'm saying? Only me and my wife know what I had to endure that whole week and the day of my fight. Only me and my wife know. You know what I'm saying? I had an injury and everything. I ain't say nothing. I still fought. You know what I mean? Like, we don't make excuses, and you can't do that in the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? So, I just wanted to, like, talk about that, for a little bit, because, like, I don't agree with that. We seeing a lot of fighters who are, especially these new age fighters, who are making excuses, like, when they lose. Oh, I lost, but we're not trying to hear that, bro. Take your loss like a man. Hey, man, I lost. The better man won. Boom. Leave it like that. And keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. Canelo did that when he lost the Beaver. Oh, I went vegan. I ain't trying to hear that. Nobody trying to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's trying to hear any excuses, bro. Like, Nobody gives a fuck. I'm going to say it like that. Nobody gives a fuck. You know what I'm saying? You lose, hey man, the better man won. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. You go back to the lab, you do what you got to do. You know what I mean? That's just what it is, bro. So I just want to talk about that for real quick. Now, Danny Garcia called out Keith Thurman and Erislan De Lara. But he called for Keith Thurman to fight him at like 154 or above 150. I mean, do I want to see that fight? I think it'll still be a big fight. I think people want to see it again. I don't know who wins that fight. I mean, Danny, Danny Garcia, that first fight he fought Keith Thurman, he gave some rounds away. You know what I mean? He didn't start putting it on Keith into the later rounds. But if I had to nitpick, if I had to pick, I would go with Danny this time. Because Keith has lost that like hunger and fire to be it just seemed like he just want to get paid. You know what I mean? Like he don't got that same energy. You know what I mean? Neither does Danny, but I think Danny still loves the sport of boxing. I think Danny still has a little bit more desire. I don't think that fire is burning like it was, but he still has like a little candle lit in him. You know what I'm saying? So skill-wise, I think Danny will be able to fight smarter. I think Danny Garcia, since he's been in there with Keith Thurman and he's fought him before, I think he knows Keith Thurman's weaknesses. And he saw in the second half of that fight and everybody saw how he basically cut it up on Keith. Danny, if he used that jab and make deposits to the body, and Keith Thurman hands gonna come down. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman hands gonna, but Danny got to be aggressive against Keith. That's just what it is. He got to come forward against Keith. He can't sit there, because Danny's a counterpuncher. He likes to sit there. He got to come forward against Keith. If they do fight again, he has to be aggressive. He has to be the aggressor. He got to use that jab, come forward, make deposits to the body. Them hands going to come down, then he can land his left hook. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? And I can see Danny Garcia knocking out Keith Thurman. But if Danny try to wait and counter, Keith going to tear him up. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't see Keith knocking him out, but I see the same thing happening again, because that's what Danny did in the first fight. He kind of waited to counter Keith Thurman. And Keith was being the aggressor. Keith was pushing, pushing the pace and stuff like that, and dictating the pace of the fight. So, I think Danny got to be aggressive. And, just go get it. You know what I mean? Against Lara, that's going to be tough for him. I know Erislan Lara is older, so I don't know if he still got the legs, because I ain't really been watching none of his fights. Apparently, he switched trainers. He's not with Ronnie Shields anymore. And he's been winning. But I think he's been fighting at 160. You know what I'm saying? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but, Erislan De Lara, I mean, that's a tall pill right there. That's a tough one right there. You know what I mean? Like, Lara, he can fight, bro. I'm not saying Danny can't fight, but Lara can fight. You know what I mean? Now, the thing that with Lara is he ain't got that killer instinct like, I'm going to get you out of there. It's more like he'll just beat you up and outpoint you for 12 rounds. You know what I mean? That's what he's going to do. So that's why I think Danny can have an advantage. But he going to have to be aggressive against him too. And he going to have to make deposits to the body early against Lara. Because Lara's older. So his legs can, you can, if you start making those deposits to the body, you can get him out of there. You know what I mean? Or you can slow him down to where he's not moving that much. You know what I mean? But he'll have to be aggressive. But Lara is bigger than him. I think Lara got the longer reach. So, Danny going to have to fight him on the inside. You know what I mean? Those are two good fights that I like. But Danny did look a little small at 154. But the speed is there. I don't know, bro. Like, against Tony Harrison and J-Rock and all them, like, I don't know if he beat them. I'm just being real, like, because Danny's style is to counterpunch. You know what I mean? Like, that's his style. And going against dudes like that, like Tony Harrison, who's highly skilled. Like, I'm not saying Danny's not skilled, but Tony Harrison is a good fighter. You know, J-Rock is a good fighter. You know what I mean? He lost to some good fighters. You know, Jason Rosario is a good fighter. So, it's, I don't know, bro. You know, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I would watch a Keith Thurman fight for Danny. I would watch it. But I think, I don't know. I mean, I will watch it. I think that's more likely for him is to do something like that. I just think he could beat Lara, but I think Lara, I don't know, bro. That's tough. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. You know, y'all think that Danny Garcia almost got screwed against Benevides? Y'all let me know, boss. Go.